the social construction of self, identity, self-awareness, and the influence of society. Good day. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating aspects of human psychology and sociology, how the self is constructed and influenced by society. We'll explore key ideas from major theorists like George Herbert Mead, Henri Tajfel, Tory Higgins, and others. Our goal is to understand how our sense of self is not just something we create in isolation, but something deeply shaped by our interactions with the people and the society around us. Part 1. Symbolic Interactionism by George Herbert Mead. Let's begin with symbolic interactionism, a theory that explains how our self-concept is shaped through social interactions. This idea was championed by George Herbert Mead in 1934, and it forms the basis for understanding how our sense of self develops. According to Mead, our identity, the way we perceive ourselves, develops through our interactions with others. This means that the way people react to us, treat us, and communicate with us influences how we see ourselves. For example, when you receive praise from your teachers or parents, it can affirm your sense of being a good student. On the other hand, negative reactions can challenge how you view yourself. Building on this idea, researchers Oyserman, Elmore, and Smith, 2012, pointed out 3 important reasons why the self is a social product. 1. We do not create ourselves out of nothing. Think about it. We're born into a social world with existing values, traditions, and expectations. Our actions, behaviors, and choices are all influenced by this environment. Even if you move to a new country or adopt a new lifestyle, elements of your former identity remain. So, who we are is shaped by the society we grow up in, even if we don't always realize it. 2. We rely on others to affirm our self-concept. Humans are social beings. Part of understanding who we are comes from how others perceive us. For example, when someone compliments your artistic ability, it reinforces your self-perception as a talented artist. In today's world, social media plays a big role in this process. A Facebook like or Instagram comment can impact how we feel about ourselves. 3. Our values are shaped by society. What's important to us, whether it's money, education, or relationships, often comes from societal influence. For example, if you grew up in a family that prioritizes academic success, you might place great value on education. These values are not something we create alone. They're given to us by society. Part 2. Social Identity Theory by Henri Tajfel. Now, let's take a closer look at social identity theory, which was developed by Henri Tajfel and John Turner in 1979. This theory explains how our sense of identity is closely tied to the groups we belong to. We belong to various social groups, such as our family, school, or workplace, and these group memberships help form our self-concept. Each of these groups has its own norms and values, and we tend to adapt our behavior to fit those expectations. For instance, you may behave differently in a classroom setting compared to when you're with your group of friends. This adaptability shows how our identity shifts depending on the social context. Part 3. Self-Awareness by Carver and Scheier. Next, let's talk about self-awareness, a critical concept developed by Carver and Scheier in 1981. Self-awareness is our ability to reflect on our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's the process of being able to step back and ask, who am I? Really? There are 2 types of self-awareness. First, private self-awareness. This refers to how we look at our internal thoughts, emotions, and values. It's an inward focus on how we live up to our personal standards. Second, public self-awareness. This type of awareness is how we think others see us. It's the image we present to the world, often driven by societal expectations or pressure. This brings us to Tory Higgins' theory of the actual self, ideal self, and ought self, 1987. When we become self-aware, we start comparing these versions of ourselves. The actual self is who we are right now. The ideal self is who we want to be. The ought self is who we think society expects us to be. This comparison can create inner tension. For example, if your ideal self is to be a varsity athlete, but you feel pressured to prioritize academic success, that conflict can challenge your sense of identity. Part 4. Deindividuation, or loss of identity. Insights from Festinger and Zimbardo. Deindividuation, a concept introduced by psychologists Leon Festinger, 1952, and Philip Zimbardo, 1969, describes a fascinating psychological phenomenon where individuals lose their sense of personal identity and responsibility, especially in large crowds or group settings. This occurs when heightened self-awareness morphs into self-consciousness, leading us to become overly concerned about how we are perceived by others. While a certain level of self-awareness can be beneficial, too much of it, especially in public environments, can have the opposite effect. When people find themselves in situations involving large gatherings, such as protests, concerts, or sporting events, the dynamics of group behavior often change dramatically. In these settings, individuals can feel a sense of anonymity, which can diminish personal accountability. This loss of identity allows some people to engage in behaviors they typically would not consider when acting alone. For instance, instances of vandalism, violence, or other antisocial behaviors can emerge in these crowded environments, where the usual societal norms seem to fade away. Moreover, the phenomenon of deindividuation is further exacerbated by factors such as excitement, noise, and the collective emotions of the crowd. The energy of the group can create a powerful urge to conform to the group's behavior, overshadowing individual morals and values. It's important to note that this is not merely a lapse in judgment. It's a psychological shift where people feel like they are part of something larger than themselves. In extreme cases, deindividuation can lead to mob mentality, where individuals feel empowered to act on impulses without fear of repercussions. This can have significant implications for social movements and public demonstrations, where the collective behavior can dramatically shape the event's outcome. Understanding deindividuation helps us grasp the complexities of human behavior in social contexts. By recognizing how group dynamics influence our actions, we can foster a greater awareness of our behavior in crowds and the responsibilities we share as individuals within those settings. Ultimately, while the thrill of being part of a group can be exhilarating, it also comes with a duty to maintain our moral compass, even when anonymity beckons. Part 5, Social Comparison Theory Insights from Leon Festinger. Another pivotal concept related to identity is social comparison theory, developed by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954. Festinger's theory explains that we often evaluate our abilities, behaviors, and social status by comparing ourselves to others. This natural inclination to compare is a fundamental part of human psychology, influencing our self-esteem, motivation, and overall sense of identity. There are two primary types of social comparison that we engage in. First, the downward social comparison. This occurs when we compare ourselves to individuals who are less successful or accomplished. By doing so, we often feel a sense of relief and increased self-esteem, as it allows us to recognize our own strengths and advantages. For instance, if you see a classmate struggling in a subject you're excelling in, you may feel more confident in your abilities. This form of comparison can serve as a psychological buffer, helping us cope with feelings of inadequacy or failure. Second, the upward social comparison. In contrast, upward social comparison involves comparing ourselves to those who are more successful or accomplished. While this can be motivating and inspire us to set higher goals, it can also evoke feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. For example, if you admire a colleague who just received a promotion, you might feel inspired to improve your own skills but simultaneously grapple with feelings of self-doubt. This dynamic can lead to a complex relationship with our aspirations and self-worth, as we navigate the fine line between inspiration and discouragement. These comparisons extend beyond individual interactions. They also occur at the group level. For instance, when a sports team wins a championship, players and fans alike share in the pride of the collective achievement, even if not everyone contributed equally. This phenomenon highlights how group identity intertwines with personal identity, reinforcing our sense of belonging and social connectedness. Being part of a successful team can elevate our self-concept, as we bask in the glory of the group's accomplishments. Moreover, the rise of social media has transformed the landscape of social comparison. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook present curated snapshots of people's lives, often leading to unhealthy comparisons. Users may find themselves feeling inadequate when they see others showcasing their vacations, achievements, or relationships. This can create a cycle of envy and dissatisfaction, further complicating our self-perception and mental well-being. In summary, social comparison theory reveals the profound impact that our evaluations against others have on our self-identity. By understanding the nuances of downward and upward comparisons, we can better navigate our emotions and responses to others' successes or struggles. Embracing our unique journeys and recognizing the interconnectedness of our identities, both as individuals and as part of larger groups, can ultimately foster a healthier sense of self and community. Part 6. Self-Evaluation Maintenance Theory, Insights from Abraham Tesser. In 1988, psychologist Abraham Tesser introduced the self-evaluation maintenance theory, which delves deeper into the dynamics of social comparison and self-perception. This theory specifically addresses the emotional responses we experience when someone close to us outperforms us in a domain that holds significance for our self-concept. The fundamental premise is that our self-esteem can be threatened when we witness a peer excelling in an area we also value and identify with, leading to a variety of emotional responses. Consider the scenario where your close friend becomes an exceptional basketball player while you have always considered yourself skilled in the sport. Instead of feeling proud of their achievements, you might find yourself grappling with feelings of inadequacy or jealousy. Tesser's theory highlights 3 primary ways individuals might respond in such situations. Distance yourself. One common reaction is to create emotional or physical distance from the friend. This distancing can manifest as avoiding social interactions or feeling resentful. By separating yourself from their success, you may try to protect your self-esteem, but this approach can ultimately strain your friendship and leave you feeling isolated. Downplay the importance. Another strategy involves downplaying the significance of the skill or achievement in question. You might convince yourself that basketball isn't as important as you once thought or that winning isn't everything. This rationalization helps alleviate the threat to your self-concept but may lead to a diminished appreciation for the sport or the effort your friend has put in. Improve your skills. A more constructive response could be to channel your feelings into motivation for self-improvement. Instead of succumbing to envy, you might decide to train harder, refine your skills, and strive to excel in basketball yourself. This proactive approach can lead to personal growth and enhance your abilities, fostering a sense of achievement that is rooted in hard work. Tesser's theory also emphasizes the impact of the closeness of the relationship on these reactions. The closer the person is to us, the more pronounced our emotional responses may be. For example, we might feel a greater sense of threat when a sibling or best friend outshines us compared to an acquaintance. This suggests that our self-concept is intricately tied to our social connections and that our relationships can significantly influence how we perceive ourselves. Moreover, the self-evaluation maintenance theory offers insights into various life scenarios beyond sports. It applies to academic settings, workplaces, and even social media interactions. For instance, when a colleague receives recognition for a project you both contributed to, you might experience similar feelings of inadequacy or insecurity. Understanding these dynamics can help us navigate our emotions more effectively and foster healthier relationships by celebrating others' successes rather than feeling threatened by them. In summary, Tesser's self-evaluation maintenance theory illuminates the complexities of our self-concept and the emotional responses triggered by social comparisons. By recognizing our natural tendencies to react defensively when faced with the success of those close to us, we can develop strategies to respond positively and constructively. This not only enhances our personal growth but also strengthens our connections with others, promoting a culture of support and mutual encouragement. Ultimately, embracing the achievements of our friends and loved ones can lead to a more fulfilling and enriching life experience, reinforcing the idea that success does not diminish our worth but can inspire us to reach greater heights. Part 7. Narcissism, Insights from Miller and Campbell. Let's delve into the concept of narcissism, a fascinating psychological construct explored by researchers Miller and Campbell in their 2008 study. Narcissism is characterized by an inflated sense of self-worth and an overwhelming need for admiration and validation from others. Individuals exhibiting narcissistic traits often come across as charismatic, confident, and charming. However, this outward persona masks a deeper reliance on external validation, such as compliments, social media likes, and status symbols, to maintain their self-esteem and self-image. Narcissism is not merely a quirky personality trait. It exists on a spectrum. At one end, individuals may possess healthy self-esteem, which fosters resilience and a sense of self-worth based on genuine accomplishments. At the opposite end lies pathological narcissism, where individuals exhibit traits that can be detrimental to their relationships and mental health. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, identifies narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, as a clinical condition characterized by a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. A critical aspect of narcissism is the fine line between confidence and narcissism. While confidence can lead to healthy self-affirmation and resilience, narcissism often stems from insecurity. As Baumeister, Smart, and Bowden, 1996, highlighted, self-esteem should be rooted in genuine achievements and personal effort, rather than superficial praise or accolades. When individuals base their self-worth on external validation, they become vulnerable to fluctuations in their self-esteem, leading to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety when faced with criticism or failure. Interestingly, narcissism can have social implications. Research indicates that narcissists often struggle with maintaining healthy relationships due to their self-centered tendencies. Their need for admiration can lead to exploitative behaviors, where they prioritize their needs over others. This can create a toxic dynamic in personal relationships, leading to conflict and dissatisfaction for both parties involved. Moreover, the rise of social media has intensified narcissistic behaviors in contemporary society. Platforms such as Instagram and Facebook provide individuals with a stage to showcase their lives, often curating a reality that highlights success, beauty, and happiness. This constant exposure to idealized images can foster unhealthy comparisons and exacerbate feelings of inadequacy among those who do not measure up to these standards. As a result, individuals may engage in narcissistic behaviors to gain likes and followers, further fueling the cycle of needing external validation. However, not all aspects of narcissism are negative. A certain level of narcissism can be beneficial in specific contexts. For instance, in leadership positions, having a degree of self-confidence and assertiveness can be advantageous. Narcissistic leaders may inspire and motivate their teams, especially during challenging times. The key lies in balancing self-assuredness with empathy and consideration for others' perspectives, ensuring that leadership remains effective and healthy. In conclusion, narcissism, as elucidated by Miller and Campbell, offers a complex view of self-worth and the human need for validation. Understanding the nuances between healthy self-esteem and narcissism is crucial for fostering positive relationships and personal growth. By cultivating self-esteem rooted in authentic achievements and nurturing empathy, individuals can navigate the delicate balance between confidence and narcissism. Ultimately, fostering a supportive environment that values genuine connections over superficial validation can lead to healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life experience. Conclusion. In conclusion, our sense of self is not a solitary construct. It emerges from a rich tapestry of interactions, societal expectations, cultural influences, and personal awareness. This multifaceted nature of identity reveals that who we are is deeply intertwined with our experiences and relationships. Our sense of self is constantly evolving as we navigate various social contexts, adapting to the expectations of family, peers, and broader society while striving to remain true to ourselves. Understanding how social relationships and self-awareness shape our identities can be transformative, empowering us to navigate personal growth and the challenges inherent in developing a healthy and authentic self-concept. Research in social psychology highlights that our self-perception is heavily influenced by how others view us, a phenomenon known as the looking-glass self, coined by Charles Horton Cooley. This concept suggests that we form our identities through the reflections we perceive from those around us, making social interactions a vital component of self-development. As we traverse the journey of life, it becomes crucial to find a balance between our inherent need for social validation and the quest to stay true to our authentic selves. Social validation can provide comfort and reassurance, but when we excessively rely on external approval, we risk losing sight of our true identities. This dependency can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and an unstable sense of self, particularly in a society that often prioritizes appearances over authenticity. Moreover, the rise of social media has intensified this struggle, presenting both opportunities and challenges in our search for identity. While these platforms allow for self-expression and connection, they also create an environment where curated personas often overshadow genuine identities. It's essential to cultivate digital literacy and self-awareness to navigate these spaces mindfully. By critically assessing the content we consume and the personas we portray, we can mitigate the potential negative impacts of social media on our self-concept. To foster a well-rounded and genuine self-concept, we must actively engage in self-reflection and seek feedback from trusted individuals who support our growth. This introspective practice encourages us to confront our beliefs, values, and motivations, helping us align our actions with our true selves. Engaging in activities that promote personal growth, such as mindfulness, journaling, or therapy, can further enhance our understanding of ourselves. Ultimately, embracing the complexity of our identities and recognizing the interplay between social influences and self-awareness can lead to a more profound appreciation for who we are. By acknowledging that our identities are dynamic and multifaceted, we empower ourselves to embrace our unique qualities and experiences. As we navigate the intricacies of self-discovery, let us strive for authenticity and resilience, celebrating our individuality while fostering meaningful connections with others. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives but also contribute positively to the social fabric that shapes us all.